Welcome back, everyone. Today, talks between the United States and Iran resumed. The goal is to find a way, of course, to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions. In large part, the fate of the world depends on making sure Iran does not have the ability to create and ultimately use nuclear weapons against its enemies, like us, and of course Israel. Well, Newsmax's Jerusalem-based correspondent Dan Cohen has been following the talks today. He joins us with an update. Dan?
Has one goal as these nuclear talks resume: to have crippling sanctions lifted. This as the commander of Iran's armed forces says he won't back off one bit from a pledge to annihilate Israel. The chief negotiator for Iran's new hardline government pulling up at the site of nuclear talks. Officials are discussing a lifting of sanctions and a return to a 2015 deal under President Obama. Israel's prime minister described before the Vienna talks as weak.
To end sanctions in exchange for almost nothing. Iran won't just keep its nuclear program. From today, they'll be getting paid for it.
In a video statement to negotiators, Naftali Bennett called on world leaders not to give in to Iran's nuclear blackmail by freeing up billions of dollars. Speaking to Iranian state television Sunday, Iran's negotiator called the sanctions illegal and oppressive. He's referring to harsh sanctions imposed by President Trump to try to force Iran back to the negotiating table. With Israel's backing, Trump pulled the U.S. out of the deal known as the JCPOA in 2018. Since then, Iran has continued to enrich uranium.
Unfortunately, they come to the negotiations very strong.
Danny Danon is Israel's 17th permanent representative to the UN and chairman of the World Likud Party. He says President Biden signaling he's willing to lift sanctions makes the U.S. look weak and puts our allies at a disadvantage.
The Iranians feel empowered. They know, they feel that the democracies of the West are eager. They are begging to have some kind of a deal. When we are stronger, then yes, you can negotiate and have a serious agreement, but you don't come begging for a deal.
Earlier this month, Iran said it had almost doubled its stockpile of enriched uranium. 60% enrichment is the highest level Iran has reached, just a short technical step to 90% weapons grade. Now back to you.
Look, there's a lot to digest there. I'm going to break this down for you very easily. Do not trust Iran. Do not trust them with anything. They cannot be trusted, which is why these negotiations really probably are a big waste of time. Joining me now is the former chief of staff for the National Security Council, former CIA analyst, and president and CEO for the Center for Security Policy. Fred Fleitz is here. Fred, it's good to see you. Am I right? You can't trust Iran, right?
No, that's exactly right. And I'm hoping that the Biden administration will start to understand that. Bear in mind that since Biden became president, Iran's behavior could not have been worse. It's enriched uranium to 60% uranium-235. It is not cooperative with IAEA inspectors. It has physically harassed them. And recently there have been reports that it may be enriching uranium to 90% uranium-235. And how's the Biden administration responding? It's talking about a partial deal, that Iran would freeze part of its nuclear program in response, and in exchange, it would get sanctions relief. That's what Prime Minister Bennett is saying. We're thinking of rewarding Iran for its bad behavior. This is insane.
Yeah. Well, we know they're not going to freeze the program, and they're still going to get the sanctions relief if Biden agrees to this, which is why I say these talks are useless. I think the only talk should be tough talk to Iran right now and let them know we mean business. But that's never going to come out of the Biden administration, is it?
I don't think so. But, you know, I got to say, Grant, that Iran's behavior is so crazy, so threatening. And with Iran's response today, with the nuclear talks opening, is we're going to destroy Israel. Even for Joe Biden, for his naive weakness, even for him, I think this might be too much. And it may save Biden from himself, from agreeing to some type of destructive partial deal. Because I'll tell you, there are Democrats in Congress who will be furious if Biden makes a deal with Iran under these circumstances.
All right, let's play a game. I love to play this, and it's fun for me. All right, say it's President STINCHFIELD. And I call you in, Fred Fleitz, to the Oval Office, and I say, Iran just threatened to still destroy Israel with a nuclear weapon. We're in the middle of talks. And I tell you, I want to pull out. I want to walk every single American diplomat out of those talks today and fly them home. What would you tell me? What would you tell me the response should be?
Let me first add that Iran has never agreed to meet with our diplomats. We're meeting with them indirectly. It won't meet with Biden's people face to face. But let's say we bring them on home. We bring back President Trump's maximum pressure campaign to isolate Iran with our allies. What I don't want to do, Grant, is I don't want to get into a war with Iran. I don't want to start bombing Iran. We can't take out their nuclear program very easily. Too much of it is underground. I'm an America First guy. I don't want us in new wars, but I do want intensive sanctions, intensive diplomatic isolation of Iran as long as it's going down this road.
All right, I agree with you, because if we go to war with Iran, guess what happens? That brings China into the mix, it brings Russia into the mix, and we're looking now at possibly World War III, correct?
That's exactly right. You may remember in mid-2019, we almost went to war with Iran. All of President Trump's advisors wanted us to attack Iran, and at the last minute, President Trump said, well, wait a minute, we're attacking Iran because it shot down an American drone? We're going to kill 100 to 200 Iranians because of that? President Trump was right. If we have to attack Iran, there has to be a provocation that puts lives at risk. And look, as bad as this nuclear program is, they're still several years away from having an operational nuclear weapon. They would have to do underground tests first. We do have time.
All right, so time, real quick if you can, 20 seconds. What should the team do that's there now with all the rhetoric from Iran? What should happen legitimately?
We should walk out. We should say to our allies, there's no point in negotiating. When Iran wants to wipe out Israel, there's no opportunity for talks. There's no purpose for talks. We isolate Iran until we see a regime change and a significant change in its policies.
You know what? I love having you on, Fred Fleitz, because you just confirmed what I thought I would do as President STINCHFIELD. Walk out. Fred Fleitz, it's always good to see you. Thank you so much for your insight.
Good to be here.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.